Something in today's sky is pressing Pisces to get clearer, braver, and much more specific than usual. For some of you, this feels like a private turning point. For others, it may show up through a conversation that lands a little harder than expected, but reveals exactly what has been unspoken, the bigger picture. From the Western perspective, the moon is moving through Pisces, and that tends to make your emotional radar sharper, your instincts louder, and your inner world more alive than usual. That can be beautiful, because you often feel more focused on what truly matters. But it also means you may absorb more than you realize, so the day asks for discernment, not just sensitivity. At the same time, Chiron is turning retrograde in Taurus in your communication house. In plain terms, this is the wounded healer energy moving backward through the part of your chart tied to speech, listening, writing, questions, and being understood. If you have ever felt interrupted, dismissed, misunderstood, or like you had to translate your feelings before anyone could meet you halfway, that theme may feel especially active now. And there is another layer here. One source points to Chiron retrograde shifting from Taurus into Aries and into your money and self-worth zone from September 17 to January 6. Whether you read that through a Western or psychological lens, the message is similar. The next stretch of time is not just about what you say, but about whether your voice feels worth hearing in the first place. Here's the synthesis moment most people miss. The moon in Pisces softens you, while Chiron retrograde in Taurus hardens the lesson around expression. That combination can make you feel more tender and more serious at the same time. So the day is not asking you to become less sensitive. It is asking you to let sensitivity become clearer. There is also a deeper karmic tone for Pisces people with Aquarius factors in the chart. One source describes this as going back 18 to 19 years with power and control themes, especially around friends, group commitments, political causes, unions, bands, or any collective structure that could shape your life. If you are one of the Aquarian-type Pisces, the energy suggests that any group you join now may not stay casual. It may transform your path more than you expect. In relationships, Tete's energy can feel a little like standing in front of a mirror that is fogged in one corner and crystal clear in another. You may sense what someone means before they say it, but you may also notice where you are still hoping they will just know without you having to explain. That is where Chiron retrograde becomes useful. If old discomfort around speaking plainly gets triggered, the temptation may be to hint, soften, over-explain, or retreat into silence, and then feel hurt when the message does not land. But the chart favors something cleaner than that. Say the thing once, kindly and directly. Ask the actual question. Let there be room for a real answer. If there is a small disagreement in love today, it may not be a sign of failure. It may simply be a pressure test showing where you and another person still need better language. And if you are meeting someone new, the moon in your sign can make you especially magnetic, especially when you are calm and honest rather than performative. Career. At work, this is a day for focused effort and a surprisingly strong sense of direction. The Pisces moon can make you more dedicated than usual, especially if the work connects to service, creativity, healing, imagination, or any role where emotional intelligence matters. If you have been drifting, today may give you back your aim. But here's what changes everything. The communication wound is not just personal, it is professional. If your job depends on writing, speaking, presenting, negotiating, or leading a team, Chiron retrograde may expose where you are still shrinking your message to keep the peace. The day is better for clear words than clever ones. Better for one grounded statement than 5 cautious paragraphs. For some Pisces, especially the Aquarian-linked type, the career story may involve groups, alliances, or communities that carry real power. That could mean a trade union, a political party, a band, a network, or a collective project that becomes much more significant than it first appears. If you are invited into something now, do not rush past the fine print. This kind of commitment can shape your public life for years. Money today is tied to self-worth more than to luck. That is important, because when you feel uncertain, you may be tempted to spend, promise, or agree too quickly just to relieve the discomfort. The transits suggest a better move is to pause and ask whether the decision truly supports the value you place on yourself. One source says hard work is finally getting recognition, and that fits the broader tone of the day. You may not see the full reward immediately, but your effort is more visible than you think. That matters because recognition often changes how you price your time, how you negotiate, and how you decide what you are no longer willing to give away for free. If you are navigating a longer cycle of self-worth review, especially under the Chiron theme moving toward your money zone later in the season, pay attention to every place you undercharge emotionally or financially. The chart is not saying spend more or save more in the abstract. It is asking you to notice where your money habits are quietly echoing your inner beliefs. Health. Your energy may be strongest when you stop trying to process everything at once. Pisces moon days can make the body feel like it is carrying the weather of your emotions, so stress can show up quickly if you have been holding too much in. This is a good day to slow your pace before your body forces the issue. And here is the middle of the story. The real wound today may not be exhaustion. It may be the feeling that you have to explain yourself perfectly in order to deserve rest. That is the emotional knot Chiron retrograde can expose. Once you see that pattern, you can start loosening it. You do not need a flawless explanation to take a breath, step back, or protect your nervous system. For wellness, think simple and grounded. Water, sleep, quiet, journaling, and a little less screen noise may help more than dramatic solutions. Some Vedic practitioners may recommend Saturn-related remedies, such as specific gemstones or mantras for individuals whose birth charts support them. This is not universal advice. Gemstone prescription in Vedic astrology requires personal chart analysis. A small but meaningful reset today could be to speak one honest sentence and then stop. The body often relaxes when the mind is no longer trying to win an invisible argument. Home and family. At home, the emotional tone may be tender but meaningful. You may feel more drawn to family, familiar voices, or the people who know how to read your silences. If you have been feeling unsure of where you stand, reconnecting with family or trusted loved ones could bring back a sense of belonging. This is also where the group story from earlier comes back in a different form. The same chart that warns you to be careful with powerful collectives also reminds you that the right circle can support your life for a long time. A relationship that begins as friendship, community, or shared purpose may deepen in a way that becomes unforgettable. The moon in Pisces makes those bonds feel softer. Chiron retrograde makes them more honest. If there is tension at home, avoid making the conversation bigger than it needs to be. A calm tone will do more than a dramatic explanation. And if you are the one everyone comes to for comfort, remember that you are allowed to ask for comfort too. Travel and spirit. If travel is on your mind, the energy is better for meaningful movement than for rushing. Even a short trip, a quiet walk, or a change of scenery could help clear the emotional static. The day does not favor escaping your feelings so much as giving them enough space to settle. Brazil is also mentioned as a possible calling, and for some Pisces that may be literal, symbolic, or simply a reminder that the horizon is wider than the current mood. When the moon is in your sign, it is easy to feel everything personally, but spiritually, this can be a day of remembering that your life is still unfolding, not finishing. That is the second synthesis moment worth holding on to. The Western lens says the moon in Pisces heightens intuition, while the communication wound in Taurus demands precision. Put together, They suggest a very specific spiritual practice. Feel deeply, but speak cleanly. That combination can change your relationships, your work, and your sense of destiny all at once. Lucky signs. Magenta is highlighted as your lucky color today, and it makes sense with the day's mix of emotional depth and vocal courage. Wear it, keep it nearby, or simply let it remind you to stay present. The luckiest time is said to be between 7:15 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So if there is a conversation, decision, or quiet planning moment you want to protect, that window may feel especially supportive. The broader cosmic mood also favors receptive, compassionate people, especially when they are honest. If you need a quick compass, look for the energy of people who are direct without being harsh. That is your ally today. Tay's guidance. Tay is not asking Pisces to become tougher in the wrong way. It is asking you to become clearer, steadier, and more self-respecting in the places where you usually go soft to keep the peace. Speak once, speak truthfully, and let the message stand on its own. If a group, friendship, or commitment is entering your life now, treat it seriously. If a conversation stirs old pain, do not confuse that pain with a prophecy. It may simply be showing you where you still need stronger language and firmer boundaries. And if you remember only one thing from today, let it be this: your sensitivity is not the problem. The real shift happens when you stop hiding your meaning inside it